Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of AccuStats Video Productions, welcome to the 37th U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. We're coming to you live from the beautiful Holiday Inn here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We're in day number 2 of our 7-day event. 220 players have entered. There are still 220 players in the event. Nobody has been eliminated. We've got winner's side action coming up for you right now, and again at 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We'd like to take a moment to say once again thank you to the sponsors that have helped make this event possible, starting off, of course, with our hosts, Q-Master Billiards, Aramith Billiard Balls, Diamond Billiard Products, Simonis Cloth, the Delta 13 Rack, Pepsi-Cola, back with us for a second year. We're glad to have them along again, and the city of Virginia Beach. So, without further delay, we've got a terrific international match for you. Let's introduce our players. Our first player comes to us from the Republic of the Philippines. This gentleman is the assistant coach of the Qatar Billiard Federation. He's a 2009 Qatar Open 9-Ball champion, and he's a 2010 Millennium 9-Ball Open tournament champion from Dubai in the UAE. Please welcome Israel Amai Rota. Thank you very much. And his opponent, a very familiar face on the international pool scene for at least the past 20 years, from Germany. This gentleman is a 3-time World Straight Pool champion. He's the 1995 World 9-Ball champion, 3-time European Player of the Year, and twice he's been honored by his selection as the captain of Team Europe for the Mosconi Cup. Sponsored by Bear Q's, Simonis Cloth, and Ortmann Billiards. They call him the Machine. Please welcome Oliver Ortmann. All right, gentlemen, please lag for the first break. This is a race to 11, rack your own format, and we're going to send it up to the booth to our commentators for this match, Mr. Jim Weish, and his special guest, Bill Gibbs.
Well, welcome, my special guest, Bill Gibbs. And, well, they call it the U.S. Open, and very clearly indicative of that with this match, Germany versus Qatar via the Philippines. So Israel Rota, obviously originating from the Republic of the Philippines, but now making United Arab Emirates his home, and Qatar. And well, I can tell you that I remember seeing him in the Philippines when the World Cup of Pool was on. And as Ken Schumann was announcing there, we see Oliver Ortmann just putting the rack together, having won the lag. He was there with the Qatari team. So he's a pretty handy player, and I didn't recognize his name, but now that I see him, I know I've seen him before. And of course, the man on your screen right now, Oliver Ortmann, needs no introduction. World-class player for a long, long time, and I don't want to say how long because it gives his age away.
Well, he's certainly a great player and has been for many, many years, Oliver Ortmann is. And if it was straight pool, you'd have to pick him as the favorite.
I think he's the favorite in this match, too. The race to 11, the opening break, settle in, folks. This is a good one. The Machine to break. A little wayward with the cue ball, and that's not the way Oliver wanted to start this match. He made 2 balls off the break, 3 if you include the cue ball.
And what a nice rack for Israel Rota to start with.
Yeah, how nice is this to be able to put a little grease in that back arm and get a feel for the conditions?
Well, I spoke after the match with Rodney Morris, and Rodney said that he had a lot of difficulty with the speed on the table, which was obvious during the match, but he said he just couldn't get the feel of it. He said the ball was sliding much farther than he even anticipated. So,
well, and he did overrun position so many times. He was what looked like it was straightforward. He just was going too far with the cue ball. So that's something these players are going to have to contend with as well. And they've had a little time on this table, breaking and just getting a feel for the speed. But these diamond tables, they're so quick. The rails, the rubber, they're so responsive.
Well, that was a nice stroke there from Mr. Rota. When Ortmann hit that ball, it went straight in the corner pocket too, you know.
Off the cushion, left-hand cushion, and just drew it. He was using the cut break and watched it. He had the best seat in town watching that cue ball disappear.
Well, Rota shouldn't have any problems here. 7 to the 8's the only thing that even looks challenging. He'll get a feel for the speed here, because I'm sure he'll follow to the end rail. No, he's going to draw.
Yeah, electing to play it into the corner and leaving himself the perfect angle. And early indications is this man likes to limit things, keep the movement of the cue ball to a minimum, and very important that he stays on the right line. As was indicative there, the way he played that.
Very nicely done.
And that's one thing about the Filipinos that I think is characteristic. They really do see the shots. They see the patterns, and they make it look easy. And Israel Rota, after Ortmann's scratch on the break, never looked in trouble here.
Oh, he's quick to get on the board.
And I like the speed that he plays, too. Very confident. And we will have a look at his break in rack number 2. 1-0, Rota over Ortmann.
I remember a comment you made last year. I asked about a player I hadn't heard from who was a Filipino. And I remember you saying to me, they don't come over here to shop, Bill.
No. Anybody that makes their way here, especially from Asia, they're here with a purpose.
Well, that might be a good hookup, being a coach in the United Arab Emirates. There might be some people that are willing to pay for lessons.
Well, he coaches in Dubai, too, which is one of the United UAE. And Ortmann, don't know how well he would know Rota, but he may be familiar with him on the international scene. Oliver's starting to travel around a little bit more now. He's had some back problems. We'll get into that a little bit more when Oliver's at the table. Rota slides that bead over. Rack number 2, Israel Rota, originally from the Philippines, and now making his home in Qatar. Settling in rack 2, 1-0 in front. Oh, he's got a big break, too.
Boy, does he. That was a really nice break. And look at this.
Yeah, possibility here of a billiard. Flick the edge of that 1 and make the 9 in the side pocket. This is set up very nicely for the billiard. Oh, he just caught it a little bit too thin. And look at that 9 there.
And he's left the 1 exposed straight into the pocket. But we'll get a look at how well Oliver sees this. Straight into the corner. 3-ball. Very easy to get to. Hit and stop. And he even has angle to go back for the 4 should he choose to.
Yeah, this is a testy shot. And Rota knows it. He just let a chance slip away, but coming to the table and looking at a long straight one is a test of cueing here. Passed with flying colors. No stranger to the main stage in a main event is Oliver Ortmann. He's been one of the best players in Europe for as long as I've been commentating.
This has always been one of the things that really drives a player in the chair nuts. Running all the balls instead of just shooting some, you know, combination or whatever you can get to make the 9 in the side, which any amateur would try to do. Ortmann's going to get a feel for the table, and if he doesn't play the 6-9 right here, he's going to run them all, which is punishing. With going to the 7 to the 8, you know, it might be a little better to go ahead and play the 6-9 early in the rack, but I imagine he'll run them all just to get the feel of the table. And that's what he's going to do.
I mentioned about Oliver's back issues. He just had another surgery. You know, I'm not sure how many he's had, but it's just the upper part of his spine. It's curved in a way that he's had issues with it. And I even asked him if it bothered him to sit on the plane for the flight over from Munich, and he said he doesn't even want to talk about it.
Really? So it's a current issue. It's right now.
I know that's what stemmed his career for a few years, the back problems. It's great to see him back. And obviously, back playing well again. 9 down, and Oliver Ortmann takes a second rack, 1-1, and he'll have the break in rack number 3.
Well, he moved those balls off the table very nicely, starting with that 1 ball. That was a tricky shot to start out with, and it hit nothing but net.
Very good under pressure. They don't call him the machine for nothing.
Yeah, that nickname would certainly fit when you see a guy work like that. Rota has a nice break, though, I will say that. I like the way those balls move coming off his cue there.
Rack number 3. The first 2 racks split between these two. And Ortmann slides his bead over, and he'll position the cue ball and settle in to break here in the 3rd. It's a race to 11, the 37th U.S. Open 9-ball championship. Again, using the cut break. And once again,
coming up dry.
No favors.
Well, he's left Rota a really good shot on the 1, and it leads directly to the 2. And really, the 3 to the 4 is the difficulty in this rack.
Yeah, so far the break hasn't been too kind. That's 0 for 3 as far as...
You know, Ortmann is one of those people, when you start talking about mechanics, you know, he's like, in a way, like Bustamante. He has an unusual arm position, and when he gets to the ball, it couldn't be any better.
Well, it's like having an unorthodox golf swing. It's all about how you get through the ball.
Absolutely.
And Oliver's got that sidearm action. It's not the sort of textbook style that you would teach a pupil. But having said that, he delivers the cue right on its intended path, and that is what every good player tries to accomplish.
He has a very powerful motion with that break, too. I noticed as he releases his arm, winding up, getting back. Powerful motion with the rear part of his body. I like the way the balls explode. Unfortunately, he's not making any yet, but good break. Well, this is the key shot in the rack. Looks like he's hit this perfect speed, too. Other than just overcutting that 9 ball, I haven't seen anything weak in Rota's game yet. Looks kind of reminiscent of Parikh as far as the patterns he's playing.
And again, limiting the movement of the cue ball. More important that he stays on that line, leaving the desired angle. Not as concerned with distance. But when he can get close, he does.
Doesn't want to be over that 9.
Yeah, he lost it there a little bit. He wanted the angle on this 7, but just let it slide a little further than he would have liked. This still shouldn't pose any problems, just off the side cushion and up for the 8 to the top left.
Just some nice speed here. He's got to roll this a little bit. Oh, that was nice. Left angle on the ball. Got everything done.
Now, what I like to see with these guys is, I mean, both of them look very, very settled already, very well prepared. And capitalizing on the opportunities. Israel Rota secures rack number 3, takes a 2-1 lead over Oliver Ortmann. And so far, the breaker has yet to win a rack.
Well, you know, one thing I like about Israel Rota's game already is the economy of movement with the ball is accomplished by his angle so well. His speed and his angle are just wonderful.
No, that's exactly right, Bill.
I like this next part, too, what's about to come up. So far, his break looks pretty nice to me as well. It looks like we might be in for another hill-to-hill match at 1-1. How can you say it?
There's been a lot of close matches, haven't there, on the main table?
Absolutely.
Here in the Acustats Arena. Rota just sliding that blue bead over and confirming with everyone here in attendance and everyone watching at home that it's a 2-1 lead in his favor as he winds it up. Rack number 4. Oh, what a break. What a break.
Boy, that ball just rifled in the pocket and almost sounded like it went right out the drawer.
And cue ball never touched a rail. He parked it. And he's got a chance here. The 1, the 2 there over the side.
Notice our good friend Ralph Sakay just entered the arena, coming over to watch his comrade, Oliver Ortmann.
Sakay, just last year, at this time, inducted into the BCA Hall of Fame.
Deservedly so.
Well, he's got a resume that very few players who still compete have that aren't in the Hall of Fame. But certainly Oliver Ortmann, yeah, he bears consideration.
Well, Rota's got a nice line here. He just needs to come down a little bit more, and it's perfect, just about where he's at.
Rota looking to break the string of a breaker having won a rack. And nicely positioned, you know, at the start of this match, they gave the decided edge to Oliver, not having really seen Rota play that much. But I think I'm going to take it back.
Well, in all fairness, Oliver could get to the table and do a few racks in a row.
Yeah, that's if he gets back to the table.
That's possible, too.
Secures the 9, and with it a 3-1 advantage. The race to 11. The early going favoring the transplanted Filipino.
Oh, Oliver made a little mistake there. He stepped up to rack the balls for him. You know, speaking of Suquet, you know, for so many years, Danny's always called him the surgeon. And I have to admit, that seems like a nickname that fits him extremely well. And his induction to the Hall of Fame, totally deserved. I mean, what else can you say?
Israel Rota, 3-1, rack number 5. And a powerful break. And Oliver has to be in his chair wondering how many racks Rota's going to string together on him. With a break like this, if he keeps landing on the lowest ball still remaining, could be a while.
You know, if I might, Jim, check out the next time Rota breaks his wrist, how loose his wrist is. I think he's generating a lot of that speed, not unlike his countryman, Bustamante. Very light wrist.
That's going to be a push. Even though it was a dry break, you can see a full ball snooker behind the 2, and Oliver just kind of queuing up to that. There's no way.
No, that's a bluff.
Yeah, he'd even consider trying to jump this. But Oliver does jump very well, and don't be surprised if you see him push into the odd jump shot.
Not a bad thing to do.
If you've got it in your repertoire, absolutely. And here you go. There's an example right here. If you've got it in the bag, and you know that Rota's going to put him back in, especially, you know, and something else to bear in mind, there's probably about an 8 to a 10-inch height difference between these two. Oliver played that out into the middle of the table where Rota can't even reach it comfortably.
Sure did. And the other thing Oliver did that's a little interesting, and Rota has given it back to him to jump, Oliver tied up the 4 and the 8 pretty good there. Did you notice that? I don't know that he wanted to do that, but it didn't hurt.
Well, if he gets over this and gets the 1, better than even money chance he's going to land on the 2. He knows it. But again, where he laid the cue ball, there's no way Rota could even reach it if he did want to attempt to jump.
Well, with where the 3's positioned, it's going to be a little tricky to get to that 4 from the 3 with the 8 sitting there. And he's played safe.
Yeah,
didn't mean to, but he did.
He's not happy with that effort. He got lucky, but absolutely. He jumps very well, and he would have expected to get that, I'd say probably 80–90% of the time.
Boy, this is a hard shot, but it's possible. Rota can come 1 rail to the 1 and leave the cue ball on that 4-8 if he hits the 1 pretty good hard. Coming to the end rail, I don't know if he'll do it, but it's pretty straight bank. He's going to the side rail, just trying to make a good hit. Oh.
Oliver doesn't mind seeing that disappear. He wasn't going to have anything unless that 1 stayed over the side pocket. And this is a tougher hit than the one he just hit.
Tougher hit and not much reward if you do hit it, I don't think, Jim. With that 9 ball in the way, he's not going 1 rail to it. 6 ball and the 9 ball got him blocked pretty good.
Yeah, this looks like he's looking at the 1 rail over on the side, but...
Have you got any ideas here you might be able to show us with the telestrator?
Well, I can see a 2-cushion escape. Like this.
I like that. That ball picks up a lot of follow off the first rail.
He might, you know what? He may have a 3-cushion escape too. He's looking at it. Let's see if we can draw the 3-cushion escape.
Going past the 6, yeah. I think that'll come up closer to the 9 though, that particular route.
Yeah, it looks like it may be a little wide. Well, now he's going to go where he's only got about a half a ball. This is a tougher hit for me, but he's got a better chance of getting it safe. Tougher hit. Much tougher hit because he didn't have the left-hand side of the 2 exposed. But again, if had he hit the 2, he would have been catching the right edge of the 2, and good chance to put distance between cue ball and object ball.
Coming off that rail, though, you have so little ball when the 9 ball was in the position it was at. It was almost guaranteed he was going to hit that.
Well, it was a tougher hit, but again, you know, you never try and second guess these guys. But I'll tell you something else, Billy. When you see people on the table practicing before a match, how often do you see them practicing kick shots?
Oh, yeah. And these rails, because of the lights, do play a lot different. They slide a little bit.
Absolutely. It's a brand new cloth, and very seldom do you. The only guy you might ever see come to the table and practice kick shots is Efren.
You know, funny you would say that. I've seen Efren actually do that very thing before a 9-ball match.